So students, now we will see the force acting between two parallel current carrying conductors if they placed very near to each other. Now previously we saw the force acting on a single current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field or on a single moving charge particle. But now here we will see what will happen if two parallel current carrying conductors of equal length carries two different magnitude of current if they placed very near to each other. Obviously they will experience some force, clear? And from this discussion we will also see that how ampere can be defined, that is we can get the definition of ampere. So now there are two figures, figure 1 and figure 2. You can see there are two parallel current carrying conductor, okay, AB and CD, okay, both are carrying currents I1 and I2 respectively. In figure 1, if you see, the direction of the flow of current are the same. In A1 and A2, AB is carrying I1 current and CD is carrying current I2. Both are in the same direction. Whereas in second figure you can see the direction of flow of current in AB I1 is in the upward, whereas the direction of flow of current I2 in CD is in the downward direction. It means opposite direction. So as we all know that a current carrying conductor produces a magnetic field around itself up to a certain region. So obviously due to flow of current I1 in AB, a magnetic field will be created in second conductor, that is CD, at any point on the conductor, and because of this magnetic field it will experience a force due to I1, clear? And obviously the second conductor also experience a force due to I2, that is here we can apply Newton's third law also. Since due to I1 a magnetic field is created to I2, so conversely due to I2 a magnetic field will be also created to I1. So because of the magnetic field created in CD due to I1, it will experience a force. Conversely due to I2 a magnetic field will also created in AB and it will also experience a force, since it is experience a force, so according to Newton's third law it will also experience an equal and opposite force. So both things, if we can calculate just one force according to Newton's third law, it will also exert an equal and opposite reaction force. Despite, if you forget that, due to current carrying conductors I1 and I2 both will produce magnetic field on each other, and because of this magnetic field created on each other due to other, they will experience a force. Now here we will see that if we all know that we will also see that due to when the current in the two conductors is flowing in the same direction, they will attract each other, whereas if the direction of flow of current is opposite, that is in case 2, they will repel each other, okay, by using Fleming's left hand rule, clear? Now suppose here the magnetic field is acting inward, okay, here I have shown by the arrow in the downward direction, but it is not easy to show, okay, so that's why I have just shown it by down arrow. You can also, we have already learned that we can also by the cross, we have already learned that by the tip of the arrow, if we indicate the tip of the arrow, it means it is coming out, it means it is towards you, direction of the magnetic field. But if we indicate by cross means the tail of the arrow, it means it is just penetrating, entering inside. So from this we can easily find out the direction of the force experienced by second conductor due to creation of the magnetic field by AB, that is the current I1. So since this is the magnetic field, clear? This is magnetic field, you can see, just apply Fleming's left hand rule. This is the direction of the magnetic field, as I say, it is just penetrating the board, the plane of the board or the paper whatsoever. So this is the direction of the magnetic field. This is the middle finger indicates the direction of current. Now you can see in which direction force is acting. Force is acting towards the AB. So that's why if two parallel current carrying conductors are placed to each other, and if the flow of direction of current in both the currents are the same, then in that case, since the force is acting towards AB, it means the current carrying conductor CD is attracting it is experiencing a force towards AB. But if we apply here, in the second case, magnetic field is created in here. Look at this. Look at this here. Magnetic field is penetrating, that is indicated by the tail of the arrow, it is inside. Previous case, the direction of current was in the upward direction, in the above, in the up. But here, I2, since you can see, I1, the direction of current in conductor AB is in the upward direction, whereas in I2 is opposite. So you can see what is the direction of the force towards the right. It means repelling each other. It is repelling each other, so they will not move opposite to each other. So we can easily understood, okay, that why when the two parallel current carrying conductors are carrying current in the same direction, why they will attract each other, and why if the direction of flow current is opposite, they will repel each other. Okay, so move to the point. So since a current carrying conductor produces a magnetic field at any point, so the magnetic field at any point on the conductor CD, since AB is the first conductor, it is carrying a current I1. So due to this current, we can find out the direction of the magnitude of the magnetic field according to Biot-Savart law. Just try to remember the magnetic field due to a straight current carrying conductor at any point, that is CD, due to I1. Clear? Because of I1, magnetic field is created on second conductor, and B is equal to mu 0 I1 by 2 pi r. Ready-made formula. So now the force on CD, so because of this it will experience a force, that is F. F is equal to, we have already learned in the last time, force on a current carrying conductor, that is IBL sin theta. So here I2 is the current flowing in the second conductor, P is the magnetic field, L is the length of the conductor, and sin theta. Theta is the angle between the conductor and the magnetic field. So IBL sin 90 degree, since length and the magnetic field is 90 degree. Clear? So I2BL. By substituting the value of B, that is magnetic field, we can get mu 0 I1 I2 L by 2 pi r. Very easy. Now the force per unit length, that is F by L, force per unit length, mu 0 I1 I2 by 2 pi r. The value of mu 0, that is permeability, 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per ampere square, or Weber per ampere per meter, whatsoever. Just remember only one unit. So now if we want to establish the definition of ampere, we will have to assume something. Suppose now if I1 I2 equals to 1 ampere, it means if both the current, because we are going to get the definition of ampere. So if suppose the currents are of 1 ampere, if R is equal to 1 meter, it means if the distance between two parallel conductor is 1 meter. Then putting the value of mu 0, we can get F by L is equal to 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter. From now, conversely, we can define ampere here. What is that? It means if two parallel current carrying conductors are separated by 1 meter in vacuum, and if they experiences a force of 2 into 10 to the power minus 7, or if they exert 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter force on each other, okay, then that current is called 1 ampere. Again I am repeating the definition of 1 ampere. If two parallel current carrying conductors are placed 1 meter in vacuum, and if two parallel current carrying conductors are separated by 1 meter in vacuum, okay, then the current due to which they experiences a force 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter on each other, or they exert force, that current is called 1 ampere. Very clear? Two parallel current carrying conductor, if two parallel current carrying conductors are separated by 1 meter distance in vacuum, then the current due to which the two conductors exert this amount of force on each other, then that current is called 1 ampere. Clear? So in this way we can find out the definition of ampere. Clear?